We're going to look at the best practices for holding a class meeting or just a quick check-in with Zoom.
If you're looking to have a class meeting or check-in where your students are able to participate with you through chat and video, Zoom is the one product we have available that does do that. Now, if you're going to be using this with your students, there's a few things that you want to know how to be able to do, but there's two big ones that I want to make sure that we highlight. One, we are sending out a spreadsheet that has a list of any students where their families have asked that they be opted out of using Zoom. Secondly, I just want to point out again that anytime we have student voices, images, names online that we are not recording, and the rest we'll look at in context. So here we are in a Zoom meeting. First of all, I just want to point out there's no students already here because we have the settings set so that nobody can join until the host has joined. But I also want to show you that it's not recording, and I know that because it's not showing the recording button up in the left-hand corner. And once students are done with our class meeting and I need to do a lesson, at that point I'll hit record. Before starting your Zoom meeting, you might want to think about the things you have control over. What's behind you in your background? Are you in a quiet place? And you also might want to think about the things you don't have control over. Maybe there's somebody else at home that's working, dogs running around, kids running around. It's really good to know where is your own microphone and mute button. And so you'll find those in the bottom left corner. And you can see I can easily mute or unmute myself, or as well as start and stop my video. So it's good to know where those are quickly. There's a lot of ways you can have people join your meeting. You may have already scheduled this and sent the link out, but if it's something that you need to provide somebody in the moment, you can also go to the invite button. Now you can click copy URL and send that in an email or post it to Google Classroom or Skyward. But another way would be is if you look at the top, you're going to see your 9-digit meeting ID. And if you look at the bottom, you're going to see your meeting password. You can also provide that information to somebody directly. So if I go to Manage Participants, it's going to open up everybody that's in my meeting. These 3 people are waiting, and I just want to make sure that I recognize their names, that they're people actually in my classroom, and I can either admit them all or admit them one at a time. So you probably have some characters in your classroom, and I do as well because that's what you do on day 20 of quarantine. And just a few things that you want to look at in this participant window. First of all, I can unmute all. I don't know that I would do that unless it was a small group like this one, or I can mute all. And a nice piece about mute all, it has this other option of allow participants to unmute themselves. You might want to uncheck that. And the reason why is you can have a student raise their hand when they have a question, and students can get to that in their participant window. And then I can unmute, have them ask that question, and then mute again. And then they can lower their own hand or you can lower it for them. Now you can see all of these characters also have their videos on. And here I can stop somebody's video. And I can also ask them to turn it back on. If somebody's having a hard time, you can put them back in the waiting room. And then you can bring them out when you're ready. You can also remove somebody from your Zoom meeting entirely. And depending on your settings, they could ask to rejoin. I chose to have that in case I accidentally removed somebody instead of hitting the admit button. But that's going to be up to you. In your settings, if you chose to have the nonverbal section on, that's going to give you all of these extra options besides just the raise hand. So if you click under more, you can see where you can change the option for students to mute or unmute themselves. You can also make it so they cannot change their name. And you can also lock your meeting once you have all of your participants that have joined. If I go into chats, I have some extra options if I click on these 3 dots. So initially mine was set so that everybody could see each other's chats. You can have it set so they can only chat with you individually. When you're all done with your class meeting or your check-in, go ahead and click End Meeting. And make sure you click End Meeting for all, not just Leave Meeting, or else it's like you're walking out of the classroom and leaving all the students in there instead of making sure everybody is out along with you. Thank you.